As we know, all good things must come to an end, and our first speaker is approaching the end of his second term as Public Relations Manager for District 40 Toastmasters. He'd like to leave the PRM role in a better spot than what he found. So what would he say to his successor? Let's find out as Steve Lanham shares just that in his speech, Advice to the Next PRM. Take it away, Steve.
After I leave, what happens? Should I care? Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, have you ever asked yourself that question? After you leave that job, after you leave that leadership position in church, after you leave that volunteer officer position in something like Toastmasters, what happens? Should you even care? Well, folks, when it comes to Toastmasters, I care. I might even think of it as a perfunctory part of me. Now, come June 30th, I'll be stepping down after serving 2 years as District 40 Public Relations Manager. And I am hoping that I leave that position in better shape than when I found it. But that's for other people to decide. I came into this role back in 2020. The pandemic was just starting. And I came into this role as a last-minute choice. Because the district, you may not know this, the district really wanted a woman to serve in this role. I found that out later. But that's a story for another day. Then, in 2021, district leadership coaxed me to serve in another role, in the same role for another year. Well, coax might be too mild a term, but I was trying to avoid words like begged or bribed when I'm talking about district leaders. Again, that's a topic for another day. Now, what I would like to share today is my advice for the next District 40 Public Relations Manager, whomever that may be, whoever that may be. I had great plans when I started this role back in 2020. I had another set of great plans when I re-upped for a second year. That grand vision I had didn't quite materialize. So what would I suggest to my successor? First, I would suggest keep members informed. And we've done a good job of that during my 2 terms as Public Relations Manager. We have a district news bulletin that goes out to all members of the district every week. Now, that is one of my proudest accomplishments in Toastmasters as Public Relations Manager. I've had people repeatedly tell me they think that is just the wonderful part of what district life has to offer them. And another way that we keep members informed is by publishing the bi-monthly newsletter. And one of my goals has been to focus more on human interest type stories and not just the regular news that we keep putting out in the weekly news bulletin. And we're getting there. We're not quite where I want to be yet, but we are making progress. Second suggestion to the next PRM, work to keep the public informed about Toastmasters. Now this, unfortunately, is an area where I haven't excelled, an area where I haven't been as successful as I'd like. Take a look at that phrase, public relations. The second word implies there's a relationship that should be going on. And as part of my role as Public Relations Manager, I should be building relationships with media outlets in all the metropolitan districts of District 40. Lexington, Cincinnati, Dayton, Columbus, and even in West Virginia. Need to let them know who we are. And after developing that relationship, Then, when I do send them a press release, or I do send them a story suggestion, they at least know who Toastmasters is. They at least know who I am. And they might be more likely to follow upon that. In my term as PRM, we haven't done much of that. And I wish that we had. Third suggestion to my successor: take advantage of social media and have a robust district website. Now, in the last couple of years, thanks to Arlen, we have transformed the district website from, frankly, what was an embarrassment to a vital source of information that's vibrant, and it provides what our members need to be better in their roles as Toastmasters and beyond. Now, we do need to do more work on our public-facing website that reaches out to the rest of the world. And I would ask my successor to take a look at that. But for social media, we have had an active Facebook presence. And we're also very active on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. We need to keep doing that. Fourth piece of advice to my successor: develop a community in the district for club vice presidents of public relations. Now, right now, it feels like we don't have that. I'm talking about a community within the district where vice presidents of PR can go to a group, other VP PRs. They can go to that group, ask questions, pose ideas, offer suggestions. That was one of my goals in my second year as PRM. And unfortunately, it didn't really pan out. Other priorities pushed that down the list. And I didn't do a good job of identifying people to serve on the team that had the skills necessary to make that happen. The fact is, our VP PRs need help in a lot of cases in doing public relations and in marketing their clubs. Now, here at Midway, we don't have that issue because we have Sherry Wood, and she is our VP PR extraordinaire. We always sing her praises. But a lot of clubs, they need help. And our district, at this point, we're not really providing that guidance, that direction, that assistance that they need. Now, fifth on my list of suggestions: set boundaries and focus on the core mission of a PRM. Now, in my mind, what is the core mission of a public relations manager? In a nutshell, it's three things: to keep members informed, to promote Toastmasters to the outside world, and to provide our vice presidents of public relations what they need to do their jobs. Unfortunately, there's been scope creep for the PRMs. The role is no longer focused on this core mission. Right now, the PRM oversees the District Technology Committee, the Zoom administration, and the development of talking points for area and division directors. They don't really belong to the PRM. And the time spent on these activities, still time for actual important PR activities. There are more things I can mention here today, but my time is coming to a close. Let me recap the strategies for the next PRM. 1, keep members informed. 2, promote the Toastmasters to the outside world. 3, take advantage of social media. 4, develop a community for our VP PRs. And 5, set boundaries and focus on our core PRM public relations duties. So to my successor as PRM, best wishes and Godspeed, Mr. Toastmaster.